Today, we answer the question, would a mediocre gamer like Blackthorne? Now, how I heard about this game was through clickbait. I mean, I'm sure you've seen those videos where it's most underrated Super Nintendo game or hidden gems on the Super Nintendo. Yeah, I click them too. But on these lists, I saw it over and over again, this game called Blackthorne. And I had a wild hair, so I thought I'd give it a try. Another thing I know about a mediocre gamer is that they're going to judge a game by its cover, and this one has a sick cover art. Blackthorne is what the expert gamers call a cinematic platformer, and it was released on September 23rd, 1994. Now here's what I find interesting about this game. It was developed by Blizzard, you know, the ones that are responsible for World of Warcraft, the Diablo games, the StarCraft games, and Overwatch 2. I know what you're probably thinking. Nerd! Just tell me about the game already. Okay, how are the visuals? Because if it's something that looks like your little brother made on Mario Paint, I'm out. But here, you can be the judge. Go ahead and check out this pixel art in the opening scene. So basically, there's two kingdoms, and they're divided between a light kingdom and a dark kingdom. The dark kingdom is ruled by Sarlacc, and I guess due to his evilness, all of his people have turned into these somewhere between a gargoyle and Shrek. And now they're trying to invade the Light Kingdom, and now it's upon you, Kyle Blackthorne, to kill all the ogres out of the Light Kingdom. So that's the story in a nutshell, but more on that later. So if you take a look here, Blizzard emphasized the word cinematic in the term cinematic platformer. I mean, our hero looks great. He's bright, he's colorful, he really stands out well from that dark, gritty background they give him. And I mean, look, you can see the muscles on his muscles. People think that he derives that battle strength from his muscles, but legend has it that he gets it all from his mullet. I mean, look at that. But no, seriously, this guy would fit right into the action hero stars of the 80s, like Arnold and Sylvester Stallone. And speaking of fit, look at this. Wife beater, jeans, and combat boots. He is exactly who you want to see if you're in danger. But here's what really earns my respect. My man Kyle is running from booby traps, pulling himself up on cliff banks, shooting at ogres, and he never loses his sunglasses. Now, I think that's the most impressive thing of this whole bit. But back to the actual gameplay. So this might seem like a typical run and gun, but I assure you, this is a walk and gun situation. The controls are stiff but deliberate. They want you to take your time through the caverns and castles. To make my point, you literally have to put your gun away to sprint. You can't do both. Now, it will take some time to play this game how it wants you to play the game, but you'll get used to it. And it's nice once you understand how it's actually trying to set the pace for you. And a highlight in this gameplay is how you can lean into the background to avoid gunfire. Also, this game has one of the best single actions ever, and that's the no look behind the back shotgun blast. I mean, look at that. Once you see this, you're only going to want to do that move. Look at that. The aura. Here's what's going to frustrate my mediocre gamers out there. The jumping. The stiff controls make the most difficult part of the game jumping. You will fall to your death numerous times. And here's what's crazy. The fall damage curve is insane. So if Kyle falls off one story, you're fine. If he falls down 2 stories, you take a hit from the health bar. If he falls an inch above 2 stories, it all fades to black because that extra inch apparently does my man in. And I can't tell you how many times I've entered the continue screen only due to falling. I eventually got the hang of it, so there's hope for you too. It just takes longer than you think. But no matter how frustrated I was from falling from the umpteenth time, what got me back to not hit the power button and jump back in the game is this screen right here. It's a small detail, but I love instead of the options being continue or main screen, it's continue or give up. It would be way too big of a pride hit for me to press the words give up. That's just not gonna happen. I remember my older brother and cousins were into wrestling growing up. They would put me in the walls of Jericho or sharpshooter, but you would have to break me in half before I tap. I don't know if it's toughness or macho pride, but for me to say the words or even click the words give up, yeah, it's a no for me. So it's a small thing here, but I love how the game calls you out for someone who would give up if you exit the game. This game also has some elements of a puzzle platformer, which basically just means you need to walk everywhere and talk to everyone before you complete an action. And I know that's hard to think before you move to some mediocre gamers out there, but it will be worth the fun in the end. Now let's talk about the weapons. Your main weapon is your trusty shotgun, which somehow conveniently fits down the back of your Wranglers when you need it to. Your shotgun gets upgraded as you progress through the game. The items you can hold vary from health, which is a blue potion, which means, yep, Kyle Blackthorne Blackthorne, slurping on that slurp juice. And then you've got different types of bombs. You got all these different keys that help you get through the map, and you can toggle through all those in a drop down menu. And of course, each item has its purpose. The atmosphere and the backgrounds of this game are great. The story, I didn't even mention the manual to you guys, but here it is. Here's what's crazy about this game. The first 20 pages of the booklet, all this lore about Kyle Blackthorne and Blizzard was cooking. The manual was so good, it made me want to play it again. The story is that in-depth and that good. Now, it's a pretty basic idea, but the execution of the lore was just chef's kiss. The backstory made me want to root for Blackthorne even more. So knowing that, plus the soundtrack was alright. I mean, it wasn't the best soundtrack. It has this loop of hard rock, which does immerse you in the game. And maybe I just heard it too much because I died from the jumping too often, but the soundtrack was pretty good. So including the sound, the look, the feel, the controls that I haven't seen anywhere else, plus the story that's behind this game, I just had a lot of fun with it, and I think you would too. So would a mediocre gamer like Blackthorne? The answer is yes.